Respect isn't something you grant by color, wealth, or neighborhood. It's what every human being deserves. This is the story of a black lady that was misjudged because of her skin without knowing who she is or her status. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. The afternoon sun rested lazily over Maplewood Estate, casting gold light on neat lawns and driveways that gleamed like privilege. It was quiet, too quiet, until the hum of a white SUV cut through the peace. From the driver's seat, Mrs. Thompson, a woman whose pearls clung to her neck like pride itself, slowed as she spotted a black woman standing by one of the duplexes. The woman, Dr. Alina Carter, balanced a box of flowers in one arm and grocery bags in the other, fishing through her purse for her house keys. Her blazer was slightly wrinkled from a long day of lectures at the university, but her expression was calm, soft, until she heard the voice. "Excuse me." The word came sharp, accusing. Mrs. Thompson stepped out of her car, her heels clicking like a gavel. "Can I help you? We don't allow delivery people to loiter around this neighborhood." "Who are those for?" Alina turned slowly, blinking, unsure she heard correctly. "I'm not delivering anything," she said evenly. "These are my groceries." Mrs. Thompson's eyebrows lifted, disbelief dripping from her tone. "Yours? My dear, houses here cost more than most people's annual income. You must be mistaken. Who are you shopping for?" Alina exhaled, setting the flowers down on the porch step. "For myself," she replied. "This is my home." The older woman laughed, a brittle, unkind sound. "Oh, please. Number 24 belongs to the Carters. I've met them before." "You have?" Alina said quietly. "I'm Mrs. Carter." The smile vanished from Mrs. Thompson's lips. "That's impossible." The commotion drew attention. A few neighbors peeked through curtains, then wandered outside on the guise of curiosity. Someone whispered, "What's going on?" Another said, "I think she's trying to break in." Mrs. Thompson folded her arms. "You're only making this worse for yourself. Just admit you're here to clean or deliver something. Pretending you own a home here, that's just sad." Alina's heart pounded, but her voice stayed calm. "And why is it so hard for you to believe that I could live here?" "Because I know who lives here," Mrs. Thompson snapped. "And it's not you." A golf cart rolled up, the neighborhood security guard. His badge shone, but his confidence wavered. "Is there a problem here?" he asked. "Yes," Mrs. Thompson said before Alina could speak. "This woman is claiming to own this property. I'm sure she doesn't. She's refusing to leave." The guard frowned at Alina. "Ma'am, can I see some ID?" Alina reached into her purse, the rustle of paper louder than her breathing. She handed him her license. His eyes flickered over the words. Dr. Alina Carter, Professor of Environmental Science, resident, 24 Maplewood Estate. He hesitated. It matches the address," he said. Mrs. Thompson scoffed. "That means nothing. Anyone can fake an ID these days." "I have my keys," Alina said softly. "Would you like me to show you?" She turned to the door, inserted the key, and with a quiet click, the lock turned. The door swung open to reveal a pristine interior. Polished wood, family portraits, and the faint scent of jasmine. Her husband's military photo hung proudly on the wall beside her degrees. For a moment, no one moved. The silence was thick enough to choke on. The guard lowered his head. "Ma'am, I apologize." But Alina's gaze was fixed on Mrs. Thompson, who now stood trembling on the porch step, color draining from her face. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something fragile, almost fearful. "Would you like to come in, Mrs. Thompson?" Alina asked quietly, her tone firm but not cruel. "Maybe you'd like a glass of water, or perhaps just a moment to see what dignity looks like when it's been tested?" Mrs. Thompson opened her mouth, but no words came out. The neighbors watched, guilty eyes darting between them, unsure what to do with the shame pressing down like heat. Alina stepped back into her doorway, holding it open, not as a gesture welcome but a power reclaimed. "It's strange," she said softly, her voice steady now, almost dangerous in its calm, "how quickly some people decide who belongs and who doesn't." No one answered. The only sound was a faint rustle of the American flag at the end of the street. And then in that heavy silence. A sleek black car pulled up to the curb. Tinted windows, official plates. The door opened slowly. The man who stepped out made everyone freeze. Mrs. Thompson's eyes widened. "Wait, is that?" Alina smiled faintly, eyes never leaving hers. "Yes," she said. "That's my brother." The guard's radio crackled nervously. Neighbors leaned forward, whispering. And just as the man began to walk toward them, his badge glinting in the sunlight, the air was heavy with silence as the man stepped out of the sleek black car. His shoes clicked against the pavement with measured authority, the kind that made people instinctively straighten their posture. The neighbors who had gathered along the edge of their perfect lawns began to whisper among themselves, uncertain now, nervous. The gold badge clipped to his belt caught the late afternoon light. Deputy Chief Marcus Carter. The name gleamed as brightly as the disbelief spreading across Mrs. Thompson's face. "Alina," he said calmly, eyes scanning the small crowd. "What's going on here?" His voice was steady, professional, but there was a quiet storm beneath it, the kind that carried both power and restraint. Mrs. Thompson's lips trembled. "Oh, officer, thank goodness you're here," she stammered. "This woman, she was pretending to live here. I was just trying to protect the neighborhood." Marcus's eyes turned toward her, cool and unreadable. "Pretending to live here?" he repeated slowly. He stepped past her and looked at the house. The open door, the groceries still scattered on the porch, the flowers wilting slightly in the sun. Then he looked back at his sister. "You mean this woman? The homeowner?" The color drained from Mrs. Thompson's face completely. Homeowner. "Yes," he said, his tone sharpening. "This is Dr. Alina Carter. My sister. She's lived here for 6 years." A murmur rippled through the watching crowd. The same mouths that had whispered thief and intruder just minutes ago now hung open in shame. Mrs. Thompson took a shaky step backward. I didn't know," she whispered. Marcus's jaw tightened. "No," he said softly. "You didn't want to know." The security guard shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, I only called because I had to respond to the complaint." "Of course you did," Marcus interrupted, but not harshly. "And what was the complaint again?" "That a black woman was carrying groceries into her own home." No one answered. The silence was its own confession. Alina stood quietly by the doorway, arms crossed now, her composure as steady as ever. But behind her calm eyes was a storm she'd learned to live with. The slow burn of dignity tested, the ache of being questioned for existing in spaces she had earned. Mrs. Thompson's voice was small when it returned. "Officer, I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just thought—" Marcus turned to her fully now, his voice low but powerful. "You thought a woman like her didn't belong here. You saw her skin and decided she was out of place. You saw success and assumed it was fraud. You saw dignity and mistook it for threat." He stepped closer, his eyes locked on hers. "Do you know how many times people like you just thought, and someone innocent ended up in cuffs, or worse?" Mrs. Thompson's hands shook as she clutched her pearls tighter. The sound of them clicking together filled the silence. "I've spent 20 years in law enforcement," Marcus continued, "and I've seen the same story play out in too many ways. People like my sister, educated, decent, hard-working, forced to prove they belong in their own skin." He turned toward the crowd. "You all should think about that the next time you rush to judge. Because respect isn't about where someone lives or what they look like. It's about recognizing their humanity before you question their right to exist." A few neighbors looked down at their feet. One woman, who had been recording on her phone, quietly stopped. Alina finally spoke, her voice soft but cutting through the air like truth itself. "You know," she said, "when I first moved here, I planted a little garden by the community gate. Roses, lilacs, lavender. I thought it would make people smile. I didn't put my name on it. I didn't need credit. But every time I drove by, I liked to see how it brightened the place." She paused. "Now I wonder how many times people walked past it and never imagined the hands that planted it looked like mine." The weight of her words sank deep. Even the wind seemed to still. Mrs. Thompson swallowed hard. I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I don't know what came over me." Alina gave a small, sad smile. "What came over you?" she said gently, is what's been taught to you for years. And I can't hate you for what you were taught, but I can ask you to unlearn it. Marcus looked at his sister with quiet pride. You don't owe anyone forgiveness, he murmured. I know, she replied, but sometimes forgiveness isn't for them. It's for peace. Mrs. Thompson's eyes glistened. If there's anything I can do. There is, Alina said, cutting her off softly. Start by never doing this to anyone else again. The old woman nodded, tears now slipping down her cheeks. She turned and walked toward her car, shoulders heavy with regret. The crowd began to scatter. No one was quite sure how to meet Alina's eyes. Marcus stepped beside his sister. You okay? Alina looked at the mess of groceries on the porch and gave a small laugh. I've been better, but I'll be fine. He bent down, picking up the spilled tomatoes. I still can't believe she called the police on you. Alina smirked. Believe it, she said, because it happens every day, just not always with witnesses. He nodded slowly, placing the groceries inside. You handled it better than most would. I had to, she said. If I lost my temper, I'd become exactly what she expected. Sometimes staying calm is its own act of rebellion. Marcus smiled faintly. You always did know how to teach a lesson. She looked toward the end of the street, where Mrs. Thompson's car disappeared beyond the gated entrance. Maybe one day, Alina said softly, the lesson will stick. She stepped inside her home, closing the door gently behind her. The porch was empty now, but the moment lingered. The echo of prejudice laid bare, and the quiet strength of a woman who refused to let it define her. And as the evening sun dipped low behind the manicured hedges of Maplewood Estate, one thought hung in the still air, a truth no one could ignore anymore. Respect isn't something you grant by color, wealth, or neighborhood. It's what every human being deserves. What did you think about the story? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do you believe society is truly ready to see beyond skin color? Hit the like button if you stand for justice and dignity. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful, thought-provoking stories like this one.